joined this morning by the Prosecutor General Richard Fadulion, who is here to answer questions and to share his insights on certain matters respecting the department. As I'm sure everyone here is eager to ask him questions. But first things first, no, we would like to report that last Tuesday, December 9, 2025, the panel of prosecutors in the case of the missing Sabongeros filed by the PNP CIDG RFU Region 4A against the main respondent in that case, Charlie Chuhai Ang, aka Atong Ang, has finally released its resolution after almost more than a month of deliberation, of assessing the evidence, and of hearing the sides, the respective sides, both the claimants and the respondents, found prima facie evidence with reasonable certainty of conviction to charge and indict Atong Ang and 21 other respondents in that case with a special complex crime of kidnapping with homicide. That is 10 counts of kidnapping with homicide. Simultaneously, the panel of prosecutors found prima facie evidence with reasonable certainty of conviction to charge and indict the same main respondent, Charlie Chuhai Ang, aka Atong Ang, and 16 other respondents with the crime of kidnapping and serious illegal detention. So these crimes are non-bailable, meaning that for them to be able to post bail, they would have to necessarily file a motion or petition for bail with the appropriate court where the case is filed. And that bail will be discretionary, where the judge will have to determine if the evidence of guilt is strong before it may even decide to grant bail to these respondents. Okay, so any questions? Yes, sir. Opo. No, sir. These are non-bailable offenses, so no bail is recommended. Okay, so no bail will be recommended if the respondents or the accused now in that case wish to post bail. The petition for bail will have to be filed first, which the court will have to grant based on its assessment of the evidence on the quantum na evidence of guilt is strong.
Corollary to that, sir.
Wait, one question
One
at a
at a
time,
time.
please. Okay.
One at a time.
Corollary to that, sir, yung saan siya ipafile? And saan?
Okay, informations are being currently prepared because there are quite a number of informations that will have to be filed in various courts. It will be filed in different jurisdictions. This would be Batangas. There would be one, I don't know, in Laguna. And then there is also in Parañaque. So the informations will have to be filed. We're targeting to do it by next week to finish everything so that it will be filed in the 3 different courts or 4 different courts. And hopefully we will be requesting for consolidation of all these cases, probably have it heard in one court para hindi na mahirapan. But that's something that we will have to make a request on with the Office of the Court Administrator. The information has not been filed yet.
Will only follow after po na ma-file yon sa court.
Yes, once the information is filed and copies of the resolution will also be attached to the information, the court will have the opportunity, or the court under the rules would have a period of 10 days within which to determine whether or not there is probable cause to issue the warrant of arrest. Then and only then can the warrant of arrest issue. We're not waiting for their motion for reconsideration. Okay?
How many days po?
They have 15 days within which to file their motion for reconsideration. But then again, we are not precluded from filing the information, as it is in our manual that the release of the resolution simultaneously therewith, we will be filing the corresponding informations.
nandito lang ba si Atong Ang sa Pilipinas?
We really do not know the whereabouts exactly of Mr. Charlie Atong Ang. That's a matter for the law enforcement to ascertain. No, we will provide them copies of the resolution, and as soon as the court issues the warrants of arrest as against the respondents who are charged, then that's the only time we'll know if they're actually here.
Sir, may ilbo or anything ba against Atong Ang? And yun nga, may record ba siya na umalis ng bansa?
I'm not very certain if there is an ILBO that was filed against it, but that's something that we can check. No, but certainly once the information is filed, correspondingly, the prosecutors in charge or handling the case can already move for the issuance of whole departure orders.
Sir, pwedeng ma-explain din yung reasoning bakit po na-dismiss din po yung complaint laban sa kay Julie Dondon Patidongan and Ella Kim?
Okay.
And can you confirm po na admitted na po sila as sa witness protection program?
Yes, okay. Just to be very clear, Julie Patidongan and I think the brother, Ilakim Patidongan, were initially charged also as respondents in this case. But their testimonies were evaluated and they were admitted into the program. Now, as a consequence of their admission into the program, that would mean that they would have to be dropped in the information. Their names will no longer be included, and that is the reason for the dismissal.
Sa kasong ongoing na rin sa Manila RTC, ano mangyayari doon? Will you request na ma-drop na rin si Patidongan?
Well, we'll see. I'll have to talk to the investigating prosecutor, no? But it doesn't follow because the admission into the program is insofar as these cases that we resolved, that the department resolved recently. As far as the case which is already pending before the courts, that's a different matter altogether. Yes, that's only the two of them.
Also, sir, based, since napag-usapan na yung statements, kasi based dun sa resolution, much of the basis for determining kung sino yung magpapayla ng information, sino yung dismiss, based dun sa statements ng Patidongan brothers. What was it in the statements of the brothers, the Patidongan brothers, that the panel of prosecutors found na pwede mo yung basis to file information against certain respondents?
Well, you have to look at the statements in its totality. You cannot isolate one statement and on the basis thereof determine whether people can be held liable or not. So looking at it, looking at the bigger picture and putting all the statements together, here what you have to establish, the charges are for kidnapping with homicide and kidnapping and serious illegal detention. Let's go first with the kidnapping with homicide. Here you have the testimony of Mr. Patidongan claiming that every time there is or there are sabugeros who are caught cheating, o yung tinatawag nila or sinasabi nilang nanyonyope, he's the one tasked to talk to these people, and then shortly thereafter he receives orders from respondent Charlie Atong Ang to get in touch with police officers who will actually pick them up. Okay, and then after that, they would be brought to an undisclosed location where you will not hear from them or hear about them again. Now, if you take into account the statement of Julie Patidongan by itself, or on its own, medyo mahirap kasi meron kang gap. You don't know what happened or what transpired after they were taken. But the testimony of Ella Kim, in certain instances, would actually show that after they were taken from wherever it was that they were caught cheating, they would be boarded in certain vehicles, and Ella Kim was there. He was with them at the time that they were taken to this undisclosed location where they were beaten up, and where, according to him, they were thrown in a lake. So that completes the story. Even if you do not have the cadaver, when you talk about corpus delicti, you talk about the circumstances surrounding how you're able to prove the crime, and the circumstances proving the elements of the crime itself. Here you see that the victims, from the time that they were taken, there is an account from the time that they were taken up to the time that they were last seen. And the last incident would have been that they were being beaten up, no? They were strangled, no? And before they were actually thrown into the lake. So that completes the story, which is the basis, I believe, of the prosecution panel in charging them with kidnapping, with homicide. And for those instances where there is a gap in the story wherein only Julie Patidongan was able to attest to the fact that they were taken, but he does not know anymore. There's nobody who testifies anymore kung ano nangyari in between. That is the basis now for the charges for kidnapping and serious illegal detention.
Speaking of Canberra, hindi kasama sa evidence, or hindi kasama sa pastor.
No, because well, reason for that is simple. Because at as of this time, while there were bone fragments that were recovered or skeletal fragments that were recovered in Taal, the same is still undergoing DNA evaluation up to now, and we cannot just come up with a conclusion that this would be related to the missing Sabongeros up until we have conclusive scientific evidence that the bone fragments and skeletal remains recovered in Taal are actually of any of the victims missing. That's the only time that it can be included as part of the evidence for the prosecution. Yes. Yes, when you are admitted into the program, the consequence of that is that you are now obligated, or you have the obligation to testify for and in behalf of the state. Before your admission, your statement is evaluated to determine whether it is relevant, it is something that can be corroborated, if it is material, and if it is something that will help out the case, something which without their statements you would not have available in the evidence that is brought forth before the prosecution. When you are discharged as a state witness under the WPSB, you are dropped in the information, which means to say you have no criminal liability. Okay? You have no criminal liability because you're no longer charged and you will no longer be prosecuted. Yes, ma'am. For these cases where they were admitted into the program. Yes. It cannot be that the coverage will be all-encompassing and it will cover all other offenses.
Hindi ko follows na wala rin silang liability dun sa ongoing cases since basically para
No.
naman.
That's a different story altogether because these cases that you're referring to, and I suppose you're referring to the one in the Manila Arena case. The Manila Arena case was filed way ahead, no, and the proceedings there are going on. I cannot second guess what the trial prosecutor is going to do, no, whether he's going to move for the discharge. But as far as I know, insofar as that case is concerned, I think Mr. Charlie Atong Ang was likewise accused, no. But that will have to be the subject of another preliminary investigation to determine whether or not he is supposed to be included as an accused in that case. So pwede pa siyang masama doon. Kaya lang, kailangan magkaroon muna ng preliminary investigation at malaman kung talagang merong ebidensya patungkol sa kanya na magiging basihan para siya ay isama doon sa kaso niya.
Things, yung ano yung, what was in the statement that, for lack of a better term, so that's the case of the panel who indict Charlie Atong and the converse naman, not convincing his objection.
Okay.
Two cases.
Yeah, I got you there. You said two things. Okay, first thing. So far as the first matter is concerned, when you try to assess pieces of evidence, you look at yung facts, no? What are the elements and what can establish it? So the clincher there would be the statements which are positive averments. Positive averments are much stronger than simple denial, saying na hindi ko ginawa, I wasn't there, I wasn't present. Okay? And like I said, there is corroboration on the statements of Julie Patidongan by the statement of his brother. Okay? And the fact that, as we all know, as of this time, all the missing relatives of the victims, all the missing relatives of the complainants here, we have no knowledge as to their whereabouts. No? the pattern seems to have been clear also that every time a situation happens where people are caught cheating in yung mga fighting arenas, the same modus would be done. Somebody would talk to them. Usually it would be Julie Patidongan, and then afterwards they would be referred to or be fetched by police officers among those who were charged with Charlie Atong Ang. As to the second point, you asked about Gretchen Barreto for the simple reason that the evidence is not sufficient. If there is not sufficient evidence, simply because one's name is mentioned, doesn't follow that they will be indicted. There will have to be more than just mention of one's name, as well as a relation as to the commission of the crime. Simply being in the company, simply being associated with a certain person who committed the crime does not mean that you're complicit to the acts that he committed. It proves that you were together. It proves that you're probably close, but it doesn't follow, and it is not conclusive that they discuss about all these things and that Ms. Barreto would have known everything that was going on or had exceeded that too.
Balikan ko lang yun sa ongoing case sa Manila RTC. So may possibility na maisama si Atong Ang doon?
Well, there will be a preliminary investigation that will still be conducted. Before that can happen, there will have to be a preliminary investigation in order to afford the respondent the opportunity to refute the charges against him.
And itong nangyaring indictment na ito, sir, parang hindi ba enough reason na yun na magkaroon ng preliminary investigation uli doon sa ongoing?
Yes, there is. I believe there is already one that will be undertaken very soon. No, we're just trying to wrap up things here insofar as these cases are concerned, and then that will proceed independently.
Parang ang magiging scenario, pwedeng mawala si Patidongan as accused and ipapasok si Atong Ang.
I cannot speculate just yet, no, kasi I have no details as to how the case has been progressing in the Manila Arena case. So I think it's best that we wait until the panel begins or commences the preliminary investigation and summons or subpoenas Mr. Atong Ang. Yes, I know for a fact that there is one.
Ito, hypothetical pa siya kasi masyado maaga, pero may effect po yun if ever magkakaroon ng hindi favorable na decision yung court habang umuusad din po yung separate cases wherein state witness yung magkapatid.
As you said, yeah,
Paano po i-handle yun?
yeah. As you
Yung
said,
complexities po yung ganito.
yeah, we'll cross the bridge when we get there. It's very difficult to base or to make any speculation, no, based on a hypothetical question. There are so many what ifs. We cannot anticipate all of them. We will be prepared, whatever happens, no. But right now, we cannot say that we will have an answer for every scenario that will be brought up.
Nasa stage na ba yung
Prosecution's evidence. Yes.
prosecution pa?
Yes.
So, maaga pa naman, sir, kung wala may mangyari pa.
Well, kung prosecution's evidence, pwede pa. Pwede pa. See? But again, there is also nothing which will prevent, not because, let's say, lumampas na ng prosecution's evidence, doesn't follow that he can no longer be investigated for that particular case. The double jeopardy will not lie there because he has not been indicted yet, neither has he been arraigned. Yes.
Sir, clarification lang. Yung initial na number dun sa basic sa Puneros na 34, kung hindi yung number, pero in the resolution na 26 na lang siya. Meron ibang nawala or is any guidelines?
Okay, if you look at it, the panel did not take any action insofar as the complaints involving the Manila Arena victims because there is already a case which is pending before the court. So tinanggal na yung anim na yon, no? Or hindi ko alam kung anim sila or pito. But they were taken out of the equation already. That's why you have a lesser number.
Sir, pwede mag-ibang topic sa flood control. Ay, sige.
Let's finish the Sabongeros and then we can go to another topic. Yes.
You already mentioned that the actual cadavers is not necessarily in this case. Pero ideally, if one, siguro the skeletal remains is positively identified as one of those, it would greatly help your case. No, sir, is that a setback that we don't really have a body for any of the 26 cases, and that your primary witness actually were the ones more closer to the implementation of the crime?
Well, it's always a challenge, no? It's always a challenge, and it's a bit difficult. I will have to admit, it's a bit more difficult because this time you rely on circumstantial evidence. Circumstantial evidence insofar as the fact of killing, especially for those who remain missing as of this time. But for those who were actually witnessed to have been strangled, beaten up, and then thrown in the lake by Elijah Kim, that's direct evidence. Now, and so far as the cadavers are concerned or the skeletal remains, yes, definitely it will be very helpful for the prosecution if later on after the examination it would turn out positive that it matches the DNA of any of the surviving families of the victims in these cases. There is nothing which will preclude the prosecution from utilizing the findings if it will be favorable to us in the course of the trial. Okay, that's something that will be made available to us hopefully before we reach the pre-trial stage. And if it is favorable, then we will make use of those pieces of evidence. No, there is nothing again which will, it doesn't mean that just because the resolution is already out, that the search which has been undertaken by the Philippine Coast Guard will come to a halt. Okay, if you notice, the only reasons why the Philippine Coast Guard stopped or would cut short whatever dives they would have is because of, well, inclement weather or difficulty because of the volcanic movements in Taal. No, but then again, there is nothing which will prevent the prosecution from continually seeking the assistance of the Philippine Coast Guard and still doing the dives to ascertain if we can still find skeletal remains that may be helpful to this case. The procedure would be they would move for the issuance, file a motion in court to defer the issuance of a warrant of arrest, stating that there is consideration that was filed or pending before the Department of Justice, provided that the motion for reconsideration is be filed within the reglementary period.
Nag-execute ng sworn confession. Yung na-mention lang is Julie and Anakin. How about yung isang
Wala akong mention. I have no information as far as the other one is concerned. I only have as far as Ella Kim and Julie Patidongan. But we'll look into it. Okay?
Sir, regarding po dun sa Taal Lake search, can we get an update? Ilan na po yung total na buto na nakuha and ano po yung pinaka-reason? And update din po sana sa DNA bank.
The last operation. Opo, so the last operation conducted was last November 21, 2025. They were able to recover 3 pieces of what they allege to be human skeletal remains. And I believe that we sent photos to the groups previously on this. So ito na po yung pinaka-latest eh. And along with those human skeletal remains were found, well, they were contained in 1 black fly net and 3 yellow with orange sacks. So yung po huling updates on this one. I think what the press and everyone should know is that the operation is being conducted in the 4 different quadrants of Taal Lake. So currently, the CIDG has covered quadrants 1 and 2, and quadrant 3 operation is currently ongoing. And we were also advised that currently, as of now, we cannot disclose the crime lab cannot disclose the results of the DNA examination until these results have been finalized by the same agency. And we'll be sure to update the press on any further findings.
I suppose so, kasi those pieces of evidence were not available during the time when the case was filed and investigated. So that will be taken into account, no? And in fact, I think the families of the victims also refiled their complaint when these cases were revived. So ang mangyayari niyan is whatever evidence or whatever pieces of evidence are or were not available then can still be utilized. But since these are new pieces of evidence, a preliminary investigation will necessarily have to be conducted first.
Kasi originally dun sa na-file na complaint, 60 personalities. Pero sa recommended na indicted or ma-file na information against them, lumabas 21 executing charge na. Sir, ano lang to extension ng kay Gretchen? Ano yung naging basis para makuwas yung number?
The answer is again the same. If the evidence is insufficient, if there is no prima facie evidence with reasonable certainty of conviction to indict or to include the other personality's name, then the cases against them will have to be dismissed. Not necessarily because their names were mentioned or that the complaints included their names does not mean that the department is already precluded from making its own evaluation. So the panel made an evaluation to ascertain whether or not all the names of those mentioned by the complainant should be indicted. But in the assessment of the panel, not everyone, there is not enough evidence to support the allegations or the charges against the others. That's the reason why they were dismissed. That's not testimonial, not what?
Material.
Object evidence, you mean?
Yes.
Yes, it's testimonial.
Skeletal remains were recovered in Tallinn upon the divulge, upon the report of Mr. Tapigo. Does that strengthen the prosecution case?
Well, a lot of things we can speculate on a lot of things, no? Initially, if we can make a conclusion that all the skeletal remains were thrown there only or disposed of there during the time when the missing Sabongeros issue cropped up, maybe that's something that will narrow down the possibility of saying that these bone fragments are related to those missing Sabongeros. But we also have to consider the fact that what if there are other crimes which were committed in the past at ganun din ang nagiging modus, doon din tinatapon. Kaya the best way to really ascertain whether the bone fragments that are recovered are matching the DNA of the surviving relatives of the victims here is to have it subjected to DNA analysis. So then and only then can we be certain and be more accurate in saying na parang tama nga yung sinasabi nila kasi meron na yung nakuhang bone fragments at nagmamatch yung DNA doon sa mga kamag-anak ng biktima. Yeah. Go ahead. By virtue of this case, I believe I think it was revived also, no? Sa pagkakaintindi ko, kasama dito sa mga kaso na to. So, dahil doon, pwedeng magkaroon ng panibagong preliminary investigation. It could have been resolved here also, but siguro in deference to the fact that there is already an ongoing case in court, minabuti na lang na hayaan na yung prosecutor na nagta-trial doon ang mag-conduct ng panibago investigation. Yes, ma'am. I really cannot say as of this time, but that's a possibility if we're talking about possibilities.
Sir, yung kay Sarah Descaya,
Oh, teka, okay na ba tayo dito?
sige, meron pa ba?
Lilinawin ko lang, sir, tama ba, since may resolution na, dapat ba, sir, isipin na, kasunod lang naman po na testimonial evidence. Nagkaroon ng strength yung credibility yung testimonial evidence because nag-corroborate sila sa
Correct. That is correct.
And yung credibility, nagkaroon ng credibility yung Patidongan brothers in the eyes of the panel of prosecutors because their personalities tungkol sa crime. Yung role nila.
Yes, because that's the essence of the essence. One what we should understand is this. Why is there a need to get a state witness? Because there is something missing in the evidence again. You do not have any direct evidence. The manner by which the crime was committed is so parang sabihin na natin compartmentalized. 'Di ba? Kung titingnan mo, pag kami nandaya, may kumakausap. Pag after may kumakausap, may kumukuha. Pagkatapos after nung pag may kumukuha, merong gagawa ng kung ano sa kanila and then meron ding magtatapon. So you see in different stages, what one compartment would know may not be known to the others. And that is the reason why it is essential, it becomes important that you have somebody who actually is in the know. Yung tao na nakakaalam at paano magkakaroon ng kaalaman yung tao na yun kung hindi siya naging kabahagi. Doon sa sabihin natin, maging bahagi siya na para magawa yung krimen na to.
They're not going to be negotiating with them each other. Pero kung sakali lang, sir, na may magdas yan, does it affect the case? Na now it's already filed.
Well, that would refer only to the civil aspect of the case. And the civil aspect of the case, even if settled, does not affect the criminal aspect. It does not mean that dahil sa sila nagkabayaran, sila nagkaayusan, ibig sabihin nito ay hindi na pwedeng magpatuloy ang kaso. Bakit? Kasi kahit tanggalin mo yung testimonya ng mga kamag-anak, remember, wala sila doon nung nangyari. So what they know is based on knowledge relayed to them by other people. Now, can the case stand without the testimonies of the family members? Yes, it can. So it can still proceed. So are we good with the Sabongeros?
Sir,
Katatanong lang kung wala nang iba tapos other topic. Yun na nga.
Sir, yung kay Sarah Descaya po, she had an interview yesterday and sinasabi niya na concerned siya sa kanyang security. That's why she had to undergo voluntary custody in the NBI kahit na wala pa namang warrant of arrest na inilalabas yung court against her. May basis ba, sir, yung takot na nararamdaman ni Mrs. Descaya? And ano po yung implications or effect nito? Kasi may iba pong tao na parang pinupunan na bakit pumayag yung NBI na mag-undergo siya ng voluntary custody and doon siya silbihan ng warrant.
Well, I really cannot second guess what's in the minds, or the thought process of the Discayas. If you're asking me if there's basis for the threats, I really don't know what threats they're talking about. Maybe it's because of the fact that they're being implicated in the flood control projects. That would be a possible basis. As to their decision to go to the NBI, sabihin na natin, kasi recently, I believe there were cases that were filed by the Office of the Ombudsman as against the Discaya couple. And these cases were already elevated to the courts. The informations have been filed. So warrants of arrest will be forthcoming. Now, if warrants are issued, the subject accused can opt for one of two things. One is to wait until the warrant is served. And the second is to voluntarily surrender. So sa akin, wala namang masama doon na sumuko siya no, ang mas maaga, pinangunahan niya, that will be something that can probably be considered as mitigating as far as your liability is concerned. No? But pero siguro ito, hindi ko alam. Sabi ko nga, mahirap natin pangunahan kung ano yung nasa kaisipan nila kung bakit nila ginawa ito. Kasi yung issue about security, that has always been a matter which has been raised by the Vizcayas from day one. No? And I remember also that they said no na kumuha kami ng sarili naming security. So hindi ko alam kung ano yung pangamba pa nila or this is just in anticipation of possible or probable warrant of arrest that may be issued by the court.
Possible pa ba na yung restitution? Kasi na-interview rin namin yung abogado nila and ang inaano kasi nila, yun daw yung naging I asked kasi bakit hindi na nga nagpatuloy yung cooperation nila here with the Department of Justice. Ang sinasabi ni Attorney Samaniego was that nire-require daw kasi sila agad na magbalik at magsoli. Ang paniniwala nila, it should be the court who will determine kung may dapat ba silang ibalik at kung magkano man ito.
Alam mo, that's the problem with but that's the problem with Attorney Samaniego. He says one thing when he's talking to the ones who are evaluating the Vizcaya couple, and then he says another thing when he talks in media. Where does it matter if they're really applying or if they're really interested in applying for coverage under the program? Then they should be talking to the Witness Protection Program. Now, yung sinasabi nila na yung restitution, kung pag-uusapan yan, ang isang bagay dyan is, ang thinking kasi nila, kapag nagbigay na sila ng salaysay o ng statement, sapat na yon at kaagad-agad bibigyan sila ng memorandum of agreement na kung saan nasabihin tanggap na kayo sa programa. Ang sinasabi natin, okay, tanggalin natin yung issue ng restitution. Magbigay kayo ng salaysay at kapag nakita namin yung salaysay ninyo, hayaan nyo muna ang department na i-evaluate yung salaysay na yun para malaman sapat na ba ito? Lahat ba ng mga kailangang detalye ay naririto na? O meron pa mga kailangang idagdag o meron kailangang baguhin? O meron ba kaming kailangan na i-clarify? They never allowed us to be able to do that. They thought it was an ex-deal whereby they gave a statement and immediately thereafter, the department is obliged to give a memorandum of agreement. That is a wrong interpretation. And yung sinasabi nila na magsasabi ng kabuuan or ng they will tell all, that is something which they promised but they never did comply with. Sa akin, wag na nilang gamitin yung issue ng restitution kasi kung gusto nila magpa-evaluate, sabihin mo lahat ng gusto mong sabihin. Di ba? Hindi yung you try to hide behind the investigations which are being conducted other than here in the department, pagkatapos hindi ka magdi-disclose ng mga bagay na alam mo. Ano ba naman ang sinasabi nila? Ang sinasabi lang naman nila, binabanggit lang naman nila mga pangalan eh. They talk about names, they give names. Is that enough? Like I said, you can give 100 names, but if you cannot be, you will not be able to substantiate, the basis for the inclusion, or tawag nito, implicating these people, that is not enough. You have to provide more details before we can even consider you as a state witness. Now, yung restitution, tagal na pinag-uusapan yan, talaga namang wala sa batas yan eh. Pero pag tiningnan mo kasi yung provisions ng WPSB, nakapaloob doon na kapag halimbawa nagkaroon ng kasunduan na o sige, sapat na ang ebidensya mo at ikaw ay pwede na maging testigo para sa Estado, magkakaroon tayo ng kasunduan. At doon sa kasunduan na yon, merong mga terms and conditions. There will be obligations that will be demanded of the applicant, which they will have to comply with. Paulit-ulit ko sinasabi, dahil ba sa wala sa batas yung sinasabi na magsusoli ng pera ang isang taong umaamin na nakatanggap siya ng pera galing sa masamang pamamaraan, galing sa illegal na pamamaraan, ibig ba sabihin nun, hindi na niya isusoli? Parang napakaswerte naman yata nun. Tatanggapin mo na siya sa programa at hahayaan pa natin niyang gastusin ang kung anumang pera na nakuha nila. I think it is only right that the people get back whatever they can from those who are responsible in committing the crimes.
But is it too late in the game for the lawyers of Mr. Vizcaya to change their approach? in applying for the government?
I'm not saying it's too late. It's just that they're very late already. No? Tagal na nilang sinasabi na pupunta sila, babalik sila, pinayuhan na sila na makipagkita, and they have not done so. So, like I said, we will not be chasing after them. We will not be, tawag nito, di namin sila liligawan. Kung gusto nila at meron silang gustong ibigay na impormasyon dito, gusto talaga nila makipagtulungan, pakikinig kami. Di ba?
Sir, kayo mga sa NBI sila, under protected custody pa rin ba sila ng DOJ?
Ang sinasabi ni Ms. Vizcaya noon, the way I got it from her is that they were never granted any protection, no? That's why kinailangan daw nilang kumuha ng bodyguards, no? So I do not know, I think the fact that they surrendered to the NBI or they went to the NBI for protective custody, I don't know if this is just part of them anticipating the possible issuance of the warrants of arrest for the cases that were filed against
Pero
them.
did you check ba, sir, kung talagang hindi sila nabigyan ng security?
Hindi ko pa na-check yan, no, kasi iba ang kumakausap sa kanila, no, but I can try to find out if they were indeed given security if they were during the time of the hearings sa Senate Blue Ribbon.
Sir Saldico, cancel na yung passport niya. Ano yung next step ng DOJ? May gagawin ba kayo?
Well, when the passport is canceled, I think the next step would be dahil sa may warrants of arrest na, ang mangyayari niyan is there will be a request for the issuance of a red notice, no? And well, this will be sent to Interpol. Hopefully, Interpol will accede to the request of the Philippine government, no, to restrict the travel or if it's possible to have Mr. Zaldico brought back.
DOJ lang yan, sir.
Hindi po, PCTC po yan. Kasi pag halimbawa po yung cancellation ng passport, ang humihingi po niyan is yung prosecutors na nag-handle ng kaso sa Sandigan Bayan. But as far as the issuance of a red notice, that will have to be done or course through the PCTC, Philippine Center for Transnational Crimes. Come again? Hindi, yung party na Philippine government, I think, will be the one to do it.
Sabi niyo, you-mentioned kanina, voluntary surrender as a mitigating circumstance. Ano yan?
Kasi meron tayong tinatawag sa batas na means by which you can lessen yung penalty in the event na, let's say, magkaroon ng sentensya. Kasi nag-hearing na, pagkatapos it's time for the court to come up with a decision. The court will consider mitigating circumstances. Among them, for example, would be voluntary surrender, plea of guilt. No, that's something that will lessen the penalty. So yun yung magiging net effect.
Surrender sa kahit wala pang warrant of arrest. Nag-intention disguise.
Oo, kasi ano pa rin naman yan parang pagpapakita na hindi ko nahihintayin. Kusa na akong susumiti sa jurisdiction ninyo. Di ba? But- Ha? Usually, by degrees, di ba? 1 degree. Depende sa sentence.
Sir, may info na sa location ni Zaldico?
Wala pa po akong nalalaman. Inaalam pa po natin yan at the time binavalidate natin. If we have information on that, we will definitely let the public know.
Sir, tama no? Kasi hanggang tomorrow lang supposedly yung filing ng counter dun sa additional respondent siya, di ba? Si Zaldico and former Senator Bong Revilla.
Yes.
So, pagka lumagpas na po ito, wala na silang chance.
Wala na po, and then we will consider the case submitted for resolution. Depende. Tingnan natin yung ebidensya where it leads us, no? Kasi I believe the charges here are still for malversation, no? If it's still possible that it can be before the Sandigan Bayan, no? Ang magdi-distinguish naman yan is if, for example, there is proof that there's damage to government, no? And the value is more than 8.8 million, then jurisdiction would be with the Sandigan Bayan. Narinig ko yan pero wala akong kwan. Right now, I don't have any information if it was indeed filed. I remember that during the time pa nila Asik Nico. Yes, we'll have to check on that. I don't have that information right now.
PG, sabi po ni Harry Roque, nag-file na raw po siya ng motion for reconsideration sa cancellation ng passport niya. May information na motion for reconsideration po ng cancellation ng passport niya. Roque po, may information na po ba yung DOJ? Can the DOJ confirm po?
Wala. Wala pa kaming alam na pinahal niya motion for reconsideration kasi medyo well, pwede naman, no? That's a remedy that is available to him. I do not know if the panel had already received a copy of the said motion, but certainly if there is that motion for reconsideration, we'll file our comment in opposition. Hindi ko po alam, no? Hindi ako makapag-komentaryo dyan dahil hindi ko alam kung talaga nag-comment si Harry Roque ng ganon, no? Kasi pagka mga comment lang ng mga pinupost na ganyan, I don't really pay much attention to it.
May reports na si Colonel Gato de la Rosa si Harry. So, do you think na snake ba na lumabas siya? Meron bang arrest warrant? May confirmation about the latest about kaso po sa arrest warrant issued by the ICC?
We maintain the position of the department that as of this date, we have not seen a copy. We heard that there was one, but we have not seen a copy as one would not be furnished us. It would have to go through the DFA and the PCTC bago yan siguro ipaalam sa department. So sa ngayon, wala pa po kaming impormasyon na gano'n. So, yung kung sabihin mo na safe ba para lumabas, hindi ko alam kasi ang nalalaman ko rin lang is base dun sa yon yung huling post ni Mr. Harry Roque na alam daw niya, confirm niya na may lumabas na warrant of arrest. I do not know how he is able to confirm that when he's definitely not one of the parties furnished copies with or of the warrant.
So, hindi din mag-guarantee ng DOJ na same nga siya yung case na lumabas siya or
Well, the Department of Justice does not guarantee anything. I mean, we can only guarantee that we will abide by the rule of law. We will apply the rules strictly, no? And ang akin is up until the time that there is a copy of the warrant of arrest and we are given clear instructions as to what to do. That's the only time that the Department of Justice will.
Pero sir, usually may position ng DOJ na you will wait for the SC resolution of the petition filed by Dr. De La Rosa before taking any action or implementing an arrest warrant issued by the ICC.
Yes, well, that is my personal view, no, which we have shared with even the Secretary of Justice, that I believe it's more prudent for us to wait and await the resolution of the Supreme Court on the pending petitions. Kasi alam na natin na nagkakaroon ng issue, sinasabi, dapat dahil sa may pending petition, hindi mo pwedeng hulihin dahil sa option mo lang is extradition. Okay? Ang posisyon po ng department is that siguro mas maigi na ang Supreme Court ang magdesisyon kasi during the time of the arrest of the former president, there were no petitions which were still pending before the Supreme Court. This petition was only filed by Senator Bato after or during the time when the former president was about to be brought to The Hague. No? So, ngayong may petition na, we have to be a bit more cautious, be a bit more prudent. Hintayin na nating ma-resolve para wala nang maging issue kung anong magandang approach. There is also this statement saying that, well, you cannot do it the same way, you cannot make an arrest, no? Or you cannot surrender anybody who has been ordered arrested by the ICC. Remember that under Republic Act 9851, no, yung international humanitarian law, there are still two options which is available. That is either extradition or surrender. And that up until the time that the Supreme Court comes up with a ruling, no, as to which of the two or if the petition should be given due course, yung petition ni Senator Bato, I think that's the only time that we will have clarity on the issue. So, mas maigi na po sa pananaw namin na magkaroon po muna ng resolusyon nito. Okay, we're good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.